What are the building blocks of nature, the cosmos, and of course, us? Hi, I'm Cosmic Mike. What are these 5 elements that make up the cosmos, and they are in every organic and inorganic matter? Of course, as man is the microcosm of the universe, and these 5 elements, they exist in every one of us. Our psychological tendencies, our 5 senses, and the various aspects of our body functions, how are they directly related to these 5 elements? And of course, they're ever shifting in our environment and within us. And how does that change our health? And how does that affect us in bringing our bodies into homeostasis on a daily basis? The 5 elements manifest sequentially in the cosmos, beginning with space. Space occupies about 6% of our bodies. It is the source of all unmanifested, unified unmanifested cosmic consciousness. It is ever expanding, is infinite, it's formless, and it's universal. Without space, we would not have the other elements as they manifest in space. We need space to help us live, move, grow, and communicate. In the body, the space is the nose, the mouth, the ducts which flow through blood, hormones, your digestive tract, your gastrointestinal tract. Psychologically, space brings us freedom, peace, compassion, love, and of course, the ever-expanding our subconscious, which is just like the universe, infinite if we allow it to expand as much as possible. But it can also bring anxiety, fear, and of course, loneliness and emptiness. Space appears when the unmanifested vibrates and it brings sound. So it's directly related to the sense of hearing. The principle of movement, air, expresses itself in moving our muscles, in the pulsation of our heart, in the contraction, expansion of our lungs, in the movement of the sensory and the nervous impulses through and to and from the brain. It is also behind the breath, of course, and ingestion. It is the movement that helps move our intestines and elimination. It is the flow of thought, desire, and will which are governed by this element, which bring us happiness, joy, and uplift. But it can also bring us nervousness, anxiety, waywardness, and insecurity. Without air, we cannot live. So we should always be consciously taking few deep breaths in a day so we can get that oxygen levels much higher in the system. And there's an old saying where you are stressed or you have a headache, you should go out there and take some deep breaths, because it could be a lack of oxygen in the brain where you're feeling the information that's happening in the brain. Fire is the 3rd element. It comprises of space, air, and fire. It's about 4% in our bodies. The sun is the biggest fire in our solar system. It brings heat and light. On the atomic level, the atom radiates heat and light in the form of quantum waves. It is the principle behind transformation, digestion, assimilation, metabolism, which in our bodies, it's in the solar plexus, which helps us with metabolism, transformation, digestion. In the mind, in the psychological realm, it helps with understanding, comprehending, appreciation, recognition, intelligence, knowledge, desire. But it can also cause too much fire in the brain, can also cause hatred, envy, criticism, jealousy. So as we eat our food, the fire in our digestive system, the Agni that's called, is very much responsible for breaking those foods down to the various nutrients that our bodies can absorb. It breaks down the carbs, the fats, the proteins to molecules where our bodies can absorb. So it is a total principle of nature that brings from the seed into the plant, where the sun is responsible indirectly for all living organisms. The 4th element in the manifestation of consciousness is water, where it's made from space, air, fire, and water. It's about 72% of our bodies and the oceans of the earth. It is soft, it's viscous, it's dense and cohesive, where it brings molecules and bonds molecules together. It is the chemical energy. It is known as the universal solvent. and it is directly related to taste and, of course, the tongue, where moisture and saliva bring the taste, what we taste in food. Otherwise, without moisture and saliva, we will not be able to taste anything. In the body is in the form of plasma, where nutrients bind to the plasma, circulate throughout the system and the body to nourish the cells. As saliva, as cerebral spinal fluid, where it protects and nourishes the brain and the spinal cord. As urine for detoxifying, as sweat for cleansing, as serum for birth, and of course the nasal cavities and nasal fluid. In the mind is contentment, love, and compassion. Lack of water can also cause thirst and dryness. And too much water can cause edema, obesity. So you see, water is the most abundant, it's the most major, one of the elements that's to maintain and for the survival of life. I've done a separate video on water and how much water we should be drinking, because you can have too much water and you can have very less water. The fifth element of the consciousness, of course, is earth. It comprises of space, air, fire, water, and earth. It's about 12% of our bodies. It is directly responsible for structure and shape in the universe. It could be from an atom to the galaxy, to the sun, to the plants, to the animals, to herbs. It is very heavy, it's bulky, it's dense, it's rough, and it's very slow moving. It's directly related to mechanical and physical energy. It gives us strength, structure, stamina, and growth. In the early years, kids need a lot of earthy foods and be grounded to help them grow stronger bones and muscles. In the body, it's in the form of bones, muscles, cartilage, hair, skin, nails, and teeth. It's also directly related to the sense of smell and nose. In the mind, it's forgiveness, support, growth, and which is what we really need in these times with COVID-19 and all the protests that are having. So we need to be more grounded, where we'll talk in the other videos, what are the foods that are more grounding, what herbs are more grounding, and what food can help us interact or prevent the depression. If there is too much earth, too much heavy food, heaviness in the system can cause depression and greed. In our bodies, the electrical energy from the neurons is converted to physical energy for the movement of our muscles, which of course is mediated through the neurotransmitters in the form of chemical energy. So these five elements are really in every level of our physiology, even the single cell. The cell membrane is made of the earth element, which it gives its shape and integrity. The cytoplasma consists of water. The cellular vacuoles are space. And the fire content, or the fire element, is of course in the mitochondria and the nucleic acid, where it transforms. And the air element is used to move the cells around throughout the system. And every cell in the body has its mind, intelligence, consciousness, where it knows exactly which nutrient to bind to. With all these various foods and nutrients that we eat on a daily basis, it knows exactly which molecule to bind to. It's like the lock and key system. So you see, in our outer and inner environment, these elements are ever changing and balancing due to, of course, the seasons, our age, the emotions that we go through, the different foods we eat. So we use the qualities of the opposite, or opposite qualities of a particular element to pacify the increasing element. In the case of weight gain, where the earth element is a bit too high, where the fat content on your body is too high or too heavy, too dense, so you would be eating much thinner or lesser dense foods, as in leaves, herbs, and of course not eating as heavier foods as meat or grounded foods as carrots or potatoes. So that will off balance and create lightness. Or we could always use more fiery foods and spices to bring in, so it helps with the metabolism or create heat, where it digests a lot of that fat and brings weight loss. So you see, these elements are all the different combinations in the cosmos and in every living thing, the animals, the herbs, the plants, and we use those plants to bring us homeostasis, or use those foods to bring us homeostasis. In my case, what I've learned, when I understood where I came from, or where these elements are within me, and that I'm part of this cosmos, that they are in every aspect of my life and the food that I eat, I understood which foods to eat when. Because when I look at foods or synthetic foods that are in the grocery stores and stuff, they may not have these elements. And if I'm putting that in my system, then of course my body is not going to be able to talk to them or to kind of break it down to the point where it can be absorbed from myself. So you see, a knowledge of understanding of these 5 elements throughout our system and of course throughout our environment is very important in making those subtle decisions, where we make those decisions not because someone told us or we need to lose weight, because we understood exactly what needs to be done, and it becomes very easy and very simple.